Hey, Grande Live, this is Coffee with Will, brought to you by Grande Ronde Hospital, Northwest Furniture and Mattress, Anything 2 Digital, EONI, and Schwab Tire Center. And I'm here today with Russ Hunt, who is a local resident and a musician, veteran, a clinical psychologist, correct?
No.
Oh.
Psychiatric nurse practitioner.
That one, psychiatric nurse practitioner, and he also works with an organization called WaterPal, and he has brought his product in to show us and talk a little bit about it, and he himself a little bit about who he is and how his product fits into his life. So thank you, Russ, for joining me here today and bringing in your product. Now, this is the WaterPal, correct?
This is one, and not the whole thing. This is stand. The WaterPal is just this bag.
The little black bag right here.
The little black bag is about, this one in particular, this is the original model. This is about a 12 inch by 12 inch.
Yes.
Okay. And what it does is...
Which, Grande Live, if you don't know, is about the size of your foot by your foot.
By a foot by... Hey.
Sorry, continue. Yeah.
What this does is, and this is where it gets, gets somewhat controversial in the sense that there's been a lot of people claim a lot of things about magnets. Mm-hmm. Okay, you put cow magnets on your car, you're supposed to get a bazillion miles to the gallon. I don't know that that's ever been effective. However, we are surrounded. The Earth is an electromagnet. Mm-hmm. We're surrounded by electromagnetic forces all the time.
Yeah,
and what the WaterPal is, it's someone else's patent. Okay, we build them here in La Grande. In fact, I build them about 2 blocks from the studio here.
Really? Huh.
It is a series of electromagnets, and those electromagnets are set up in a particular way to vortex. So we're increasing the positives and increasing the negatives. Mm-hmm. And so what happens is that as the water molecule goes through all of those different electromagnetic fields, it excites the water molecule.
Okay.
Now, and we were in here the other day, the way this started was that I came in and we talked about it, actually poured some water down through this exact unit.
Which we're actually going to do La Grande Live. And now the bottom line that this translates to, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that it essentially cleans your water.
What it does, it softens the water.
It softens your water.
Water is the universal solvent. Right? And so what happens over time is anything that has energy over time gives up its energy. It loses some energy. Mm-hmm. And so what we believe is going on with the WaterPal is that when the water goes through these electromagnetic fields, the water molecule becomes re-energized. Mm-hmm. When it re-energizes, it actually lessens the surface tension of it. Okay? And so we actually get a great deal more absorption of the water that's treated with this when it's put in the ground. Mm-hmm. You get better absorption. I've got a bunch of horses and chickens, and they drink less WaterPal treated water than they do untreated water because it absorbs better.
Because it absorbs better. So you're actually getting more bang for your buck drinking the water that you're drinking. And it also, and from what Wes has been telling me, it softens your water. It maybe gets rid of some nasty stuff that might be in the water. It makes it a more pleasurable drinking experience and just kind of generally increases the quality of your water, right?
It makes the water quality, but it doesn't get rid of. And see, that's one of the kind of controversial things, I guess, about it, if there is something controversial, is that if there is sulfur in the water, okay, what we believe happens here is that the electromagnetic forces causes the water molecule to change by giving up an electron. It attaches to that, like the sulfur. So out here by the airport, there's high sulfur content in the water. By putting a WaterPal on there, what we do is kill the sulfur taste. It ties up the sulfur molecule in the water molecule, and so it's still there. It doesn't smell. Okay, so if we've got in your pipes, there's calcium carbonate, magnesium carbonate. By energizing the water, what it does is it allows that to come back to calcium bicarbonate, magnesium bicarbonate, which is absorbable. So in the long run, it ends up cleaning out the scale in the pipe turning it back into a dissolved material that your body can use.
Because without the effect this has on it, a lot of those materials will stick onto the pipe and kind of have some bad effects on there, correct?
Right. Well, yeah, it'll just corrode up the pipe.
Yeah.
Now, I can't tell you that does that in the body because I don't know that.
Yeah, for sure.
But, and we, one of the things that we do with WaterPal is we don't make a claim with WaterPal we don't know it'll do.
Sure.
Now, we might not know exactly why it does it, but we know through the testing that we're very confident we're not doing anything harmful.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
Because some things do. I'm a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
There's a number of things done that are harmful to people.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I'm not going to be involved in things that buy it now and I'll be out of business before it hurts you.
Which is a very legitimate sales, that is a sales philosophy that exists.
Yeah. And there's other products. The thing that makes this different than others, there's some that will have a device that attaches to a pipe and then a wire that wraps around the pipe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what those tend to do is they do some of the same things, but they aggregate the chemicals. Huh. So it makes them bigger. This makes them smaller.
Huh.
This technology was used on cooling towers, and cooling towers are for I guess a general description, or like a large swamp cooler. Mm-hmm. Swamp coolers tend to get scale built up on them. Okay, these cooling towers are used a lot in the south, mm-hmm. areas where evaporation will provide enough cooling. The way they generally work is that the water is put in with acid. Okay, and so the water is pumped up, down through some filters, the air is sucked through them, causes evaporation, but it leaves a scale. The acid is used to melt the scale. Over time, fairly short time actually, the particulate matter will build up to the point that it loses, the water gets very, very hard. Okay, so then they dump a base material in that will neutralize the acid, which makes a salt then. Mm-hmm. Then that is pumped out into the sewer system. We had these on a hospital in Charleston, South Carolina, or Charleston, West Virginia, excuse me. And what happened, the technology, not this unit. And what happened was that they used no chemicals at all. Okay, there was no need for drain down.
Yeah.
The efficiency of the towers improved dramatically, and it saved about not only the cost of the chemicals, but about 1 million gallons of water per year per cooling tower. Wow. Was what they estimated.
Wow.
And so, on the great side, environmentally, it's wonderful. On the negative side, the chemical companies were not very happy with it. And
Big business is not very happy with the new technology. Yeah.
And so people selling the water.
Yeah.
We're not very happy. The downside is you end up with lots of salts in the sewer systems. Mm-hmm. And salt is a very difficult thing to deal with.
Yeah. So now how that translates to regular people is that these can get attached to their jacuzzi, to their hot tub, to just their pipes in their houses, mm-hmm. correct? And it'll have effects beneficial to their health, possibly.
I've got one on my hot tub.
Yeah.
I put it on 7 years ago. Okay. I've never added chemicals to my hot tub.
Wow. Well, and you're not dead, so obviously it's doing something.
No, I'm not. In fact, I think I'm younger. I don't
Fair
know.
enough. Yeah.
But I've never put any chemicals in. About every year and a half, because we don't use it, just I and my wife, and Anita and I don't use it as much as other people, but every year and a half, we drain the water out, mm-hmm. and we drain it out on the yard. So obviously, there's not a harmful side to it. That we're not using chemicals. We're not sitting in toxic chemicals.
Sure.
We have trouble keeping the dog out of it because she would like to get in there.
Yeah.
On the garden, when we hook it up, just the water pipe, okay, it softens the water. I live out in the country. I've got a well, but there's kind of a reddish tinge to where the water gets on the tile, grout, things like that. Some of that is iron, some of it is an iron bacteria. Okay, whichever, it doesn't stick now. So I can go through and clean the tile, clean the tub.
Interesting.
And I say I do that as if it's part of my domestic task. It gets done.
Yeah, for sure, for
Okay?
sure.
The hot tub takes about 10 minutes to clean the hot tub.
Wow.
Like I said, the laundry, we use less soap. The dishwasher, the washing machine, everything lasts longer because we're not getting any scale buildup in there. We've even found that in the garden, we've done some tests with a greenhouse. We set up a little greenhouse. There's some stuff that makes a big difference. The tomatoes were about 3 or 4 times as large and very dense and not as acidic tasting with the water-pal treated water. We were going to do aquaponics. We don't advertise that this will kill bacteria, but the fish wouldn't survive because we killed so many bacteria. We've done some water tests that shows it actually purifies some water, but we need to do more testing to see the scope of that.
Sure, fair enough.
But it works. The main areas here that it's going to work on is it's going to work on the lawn. We don't have an aphid problem anymore. Our maple trees, our roses don't have aphids anymore since we started watering with this.
Wow.
We don't use as much water. Like I said, it's easier to clean up.
Interesting.
The water tastes better. You can feel, well, you noticed the other day when we ran it down through, and let me show you, this is how difficult this is. Okay?
Yeah. So actually, hold on one second. I want the camera to zoom in really quickly so that people can actually see how that's working. And I think you could probably go for it now.
Okay. And all we're going to do is just dump this down through.
A little bit might spill the Grande Alive, but don't be afraid. And everything's under control.
Get it down through. Okay. And then like we did when we were here last week. Okay, if you taste this water and you taste it like you're tasting wine, you roll it around in your mouth, and then this one here was kind of interesting to get in. Then you take this one and do the same thing with it. You'll feel a difference. You'll taste a difference, depending on how soft the water is to start with. Is how much difference you're going to notice. I've got one on here in Grande, and I seldom can taste any of the chlorine that when they have to purge, that's shock the system. I seldom taste any chlorine at my office.
Wow.
The appliances, the toilets are not scaled up.
Wow. So now, we didn't actually do this test, La Grande Alive. This is not plugged in, so this water hasn't been. But that is as simple as it is. It just goes through. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, like...
So let me just quickly, so that there's...
There we go.
This is it. That's it.
Hold it up a little higher. It might not be in the camera. There you go.
What you've got is there's an arrow for the direction of the water flow. Here's a Velcro. You just wrap it around the pipe, Velcro it, plug it in.
Yep.
We've got a transformer on here. We cut it down to 12 volt. And we can actually set them up. One of the things we would really like to do is eventually put this out for third world countries, in the sense that we can treat the water with a solar, a battery.
Yeah.
You can charge batteries. So the versatility of it is amazing.
Absolutely.
Because we're using direct current.
Now, now we've kind of talked a little bit about this product, and you're probably wondering, okay, I mean, this is Coffee with Will. We don't normally talk about products on Coffee with Will. But the reason, I really wanted to bring Russ in here to talk about his product is because I think his product kind of connects to him as a person. I think he's a very interesting person in that he is a veteran, as I mentioned earlier. He's also He's also nurse, clinical nurse.
Psychiatric, mental health nurse practitioner.
Nurse practitioner. So he's into medicine. He's also very into naturopathic medicine, and he's a Christian. And a lot of these things you don't normally find people that they kind of fit together. But I think that this product, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Russ, this product is in a lot of ways returning the water to the state that it was before we started pumping things into it and putting things into it. So the water is actually in a more natural state rather than some sort of an altered state, which we kind of talked about this last week, kind of fits in with Russ's spirituality. So maybe you could talk a little bit about Russ, about you're a Christian. How does this kind of fit in with that mindset and that philosophy and just the overall philosophy of you as a person?
See, my philosophy medically comes down to there's 3 areas of life that if you're going to live the very best life that you can live,
sure,
you gotta have strengths in these 3 areas. You gotta be physically as healthy as you can be. You gotta be emotionally as healthy as you can be, and you need to be spiritually as healthy as you can be. Now, what I tell clients is that doesn't mean that you need to go to my gym, see my shrink, or go to my church.
Yeah.
But what it means is that having strengths in those areas gives you a much increased ability to relax. Okay? Now, I believe the DNA molecule, it was created by God to make us and to repair us. So what we find as the more we know about science, the more we know about medicine, is that it's not just the DNA coding, but markers on the DNA that tell the body how much of the different neurochemicals to make. So if you've got the markers are in an ideal spot, and nutritionally you're in an ideal spot, and you can relax so that you can have appropriate circulation, then the nutrients get to the DNA molecule. The DNA molecule is able to make what your body needs. Okay? A lot of what we do with a lot of medications is a medication we give to people. In the long run, the body's adjustment to the medication will actually create or contribute to some of the illnesses that we've set out to treat. And with those, and there I'm going to confine everything that I'm saying to the mental health range. But we know that when we give like an SSRI, which is a very common kind
for anxiety and depression and so on and so forth,
the body's immediate response to that is to reduce its own production of serotonin.
Yep.
Okay. And so we have to, we're in a sense tricking the body. Now, sometimes that may be essential and necessary to do, but it's fairly common for somebody to go to a provider and they'll take a paper and pencil test and say, well, you're depressed, so let's give you an SSRI, and we're going to see whether you feel better, of which a lot of times people will feel better because they're doing something about it. Okay? But over time, they'll start to feel better, but then they'll kind of return. Okay?
They'll relapse.
To their, and not even necessarily a relapse, just kind of a return. Okay? And so customarily what we do is we raise the amount of antidepressant. And it'll have its effect again, and the body will adapt. And then we'll raise it again. Commonly, I'll have people that will come in on 2 or more antidepressants, 2 or more mood stabilizers, 2 or more anti-anxiety medications. And this has gone on gradually over a number of years. Okay. Now I found I've done a lot of work in drug and alcohol treatment. My specialization for a long time has been what they call co-occurring disorders. So it's been major.
Is that like comorbid kind of a thing? Yeah.
Yep. So it's major mental illness and addiction. And a great deal of what we're seeing is there's more and more and more of all of these kinds of things. And I could get into a whole lot of cultural kinds of things that I think contribute. But a lot of what we're doing is our food source isn't as nutritious as it was in the past. And the water, I think, is not as good. And so you get a cumulative effect, plus people getting discouraged. You know, we've got more kids that are not being raised by parents who are really concerned about them. We've got changes in family structures, family dynamics that are happening way more often.
Yeah.
It's unusual now to have a family where mom and dad got married. They're still involved with the family.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really loving, caring, nurturing sort of an environment. And as humans, we're very adaptive.
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe that God made us to survive.
Yeah.
And so we adapt to our environment sometimes way too well. What we know in neuropsychiatry now is that most anything that goes on in the brain for more than 2 or 3 months, the brain sees as normal, and then we'll try to maintain it. That's those markers, that
Your
epigenetic
stasis.
marker.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so what we do is, like with the military, my first 5.5 years with the military, I was a musician. Okay, and part of the reasoning for that was because it was during Vietnam, and there would be no reason in the world why they would ever need a saxophone player in Vietnam. I thought.
You thought.
And so one morning in Da Nang, I thought, my plans have gone horribly wrong. I put in my time. I did my 5. I actually got to play concerts here in Baker. I ended up, one of the bands I was in was the Navy Show Band West. And so we played tours all over the western United States. Got to play with some really great musicians.
Yeah.
Got out. And like a lot of people who got out of the military, I was just angry. Hey, I was out for about 9 years. I was raised here in Baker County and was not economically, I was not doing really well. Was going back to college, ended up going to the National Guard, so I was a part of the local 3rd of the 116th as a medic. So I learned to be a combat medic with an armored cav unit. Okay? Did that because of politics in the state at the time. When I finished nursing school, got commissioned, the Navy picked me up, and so I finished my career as a Navy nurse. But I was a division officer for a fleet hospital, and what we studied was combat trauma, head injuries and things. So I started as an entertainer. I ended up studying mental health.
Interesting.
I actually worked at the local VA, the CBOC here. I was the psychiatry department here for about 4 years. And what I discovered in that was what I had already suspected, was that we teach people to think a certain way. In the military, we want them to think a certain way. My belief is, I believe that America is a blessed nation.
Yeah.
I think that God gave us things that other parts of the world don't have.
Well, I think anybody that looks at our GDP couldn't really argue with that.
It's hard to argue that.
Yeah. You know.
And I believe that started with our founding fathers, okay, and the Constitution. Because if you study the history, that didn't just drop out of the sky, but in the philosophy of world history, it seems like it was incredibly unique.
Yeah.
Okay, and we benefited from that over the years. Well, we need a military. Every country seems to understand that they need a military to protect their way of life. Okay? Well, to do that, you need people who think a certain way, because ultimately, that military, wherever it is in the world, is prepared to destroy other people who disagree.
Yep.
Okay, and you can argue whether that's right or wrong or moral or, but that's a reality.
Yeah.
To do that, there's a mindset. Okay, and we train people to think a particular way in the military. Now, that's a very small percentage that actually are involved in combat, but we're all kind of trained. That's what I really came to, even though my first 5.5 years was as a non-combatant. My training, my basic training, a lot of the people I was involved with had that mindset. You know, we were pretty macho.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very strong sense of the other.
Yes, very much, very much. And so as I got then and learned a lot more about the combat side of things by being part of the armored cav unit, and then later on I would take, every time I got a chance, would go to the field with the Marines or the Seabees, people who were directly involved in combat, Army infantry, whoever I could go with to learn what they were dealing with, so that when I went back and was training corpsmen or working, you know, if I got mobilized to deal with people in a combat arena, what we needed to do. And then getting out, what I discovered, and I believe this is one of the fatal flaws of VA mental health, is that it's a group of people providing services who don't really know how the military was trained to be.
Huh.
And so we're working with the population trying to get I had a social worker tell me one time, he said, the difference between you and me is that I want them to get over being a veteran. And you want them to continue being a veteran. I said, absolutely. Because I am a veteran.
Huh.
And I will always be a veteran.
Huh.
And you will not take that away from me.
Huh.
I'm not angry as I was. You know, I don't feel the need to physically engage people. But part of that, again, is physical, emotional, and spiritual. I'm physically healthy. I don't drink like I used to. That was a big part of the military when I was there. According to my kids that are still in the military, it still is. Okay. Emotionally, I'm just a whole lot happier, and a lot of that is because, you know, to get back to, I believe God has put me in places to do things that I find helpful with my growth. It brings, you know, this. We do this here. I've had chances to sell this or have it built overseas. We're not going to do that. You know, it's going to be, if it will live or die on America. We will use it here.
Yeah.
We will build it here. I've spent a lot of money on marketing.
Yeah.
So the big problem is getting the word out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you had no idea about this. I brought it in and demonstrated it. If you want to get a huge difference in this, take something like a soda and run down through it. Or cranberry juice. Okay.
I was actually going to ask you, can you put coffee through it? I wonder if that would have it.
You know, I haven't tried coffee, but
I kind of wish we could plug it in now and we could try to see what kind of coffee taste it would do, like what it would taste like. But yeah, no, yeah, absolutely.
Coffee's pretty good by itself.
Don't touch my coffee. Oh, no, fair enough. Coffee is sacrosanct.
But you know, I've being in the Navy and being in the military, you could improve the flavor of a lot of coffee I've made.
Oh gosh. Difference between bad coffee and good coffee is exponential.
Yeah. I just don't think we get to escape the effects of strong spiritual beliefs.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of what made me want to bring you on here, because it sounds like you're a person, you know, you've said it yourself, you're not anyone super special, at least you've said that about yourself. You're not a special person, but you're a balanced person. And I think that's what a lot of people strive for. I think a lot of people strive for what you said, physical, emotional, and spiritual balance. And, you know, you can put more Al's in there, but, you know, this is something that you've brought to introduce a level of physical balance. Your spirituality, your Christianity, that brings you a level of spiritual balance. And you're a nurse practitioner, clinical psychiatrist or psychologist?
No, psychiatric, mental health. See, actually, and the thing
I'm so sorry, I'm messing that up every single time.
Well, most people aren't aware of that. I was just talking to a graduate nursing student this morning and said one of the things that nursing does, I think, as a psych nurse practitioner, is we get too many people that are going into the profession that are becoming like a mini doctor because I can write prescriptions. Because I can write prescriptions and I don't cost as much as a physician, a lot of places want to hire me to write prescriptions. Okay, I don't believe that's our best method of dealing with mental health. I think you have to change your life behaviors to change the outcome. Sometimes medications is part of that. Sometimes natural things are a part of it. Sometimes getting more sleep is a part of it. But as a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, the strength of my job is that I can take time and talk to people about their life. Sometimes it's almost like a Dr. Phil. How's that working for you?
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. And I've told a number of people. I've got a client now that explosive anger he's had for a long time, and we were in a group session, and he started to become angry, and I said, so, you know, why do you do that? And he said, because I feel better. And I said, then do more of it. I said, what? I said, well, if it's working, if it makes you feel better, do more of it. And he said, I'll get arrested. I said, well, yeah, there's a downside. You know, so maybe what you need to look at is if you're going to do more of something, let's do more of something that helps you relax. Let's do more of something that brings joy into your life. Let's do more of something that reduces the negative effect of the people around you who need to spread gossip and spread rumors and be angry themselves. 3 rules I tell people, and I tell them if you live by these 3 rules, it'll absolutely change your life. Okay? No yelling.
Okay.
No swearing. And no name calling.
Oh man, I got a long way to go.
Yeah. Because all of those things activate the limbic system, activate the fight-flight part of the brain. You know? And I don't know how long somebody can hear somebody yelling the F word at them and be calm and happy.
No, yeah, for sure.
So if you do those 3 things, no yelling, no swearing, no name calling, what it does is you got to do something else. And that activates the frontal lobes. And the frontal lobes is where the thinking, reasoning, rational part of the brain is.
So it's interesting to me because all these things we're talking about, the water pal, some of your methods of mental health, they all center around calming, being at peace, centeredness, just kind of like a rest, a state of rest.
Yes.
How does that kind of fit in with all these things that you're talking about?
Oh, you know, last Saturday, I'm part of the Blue Yesterdays is a big band, and it was a Baker County big band. It's been in existence since about 1982, and now there's a lot of Union County people go over, and we played a dance at the VFW in Baker, and by the way, particularly if you play trombone, let us know.
Little bit of a plug.
But the goal of the people, I mean, it's been through some turmoil. It's kind of a community thing. I've been with it since 1982, was out for a while here and there. But we had some problems here a couple of years ago, and it was going to disband. And a couple of the guys said, we just want to have fun. We come here, I got all this stuff going on in my life. One guy's a physician's assistant, you know, another's a pharmacy tech, another is a college professor. I mean, we've got a real conglomeration. We've got a couple high school students that play with us. Okay? And they say, I come here for enjoyment. I'm willing to work hard. I want to play challenging music. I want to play well, but it's got to be fun. Fun and relaxing to me is similar. I can do things. I've trained horses, you know, and sometimes that can get unrelaxing pretty quick.
Yeah.
But it's rewarding, you know. And so it all goes together to be able to be calm, to relax, to find in different things called centering, or finding your chi. I guess that's I don't know if that's the right word, but looking at energy, you know. I think that acupuncture, massage, biofeedback, we do a lot of biofeedback in my practice, relaxation breathing, all of those things are really aimed at the same thing. Prayer, meditation, they're all aimed at, let me get to a relaxed state. Be calm and know that I'm God. You know, I don't have to worry about all kinds of things. I tell people with the serenity prayer, I say use the serenity prayer, but in the immediate God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change right now. The courage to change the things I can right now, and the wisdom to know the difference. Because some of the things that we do need to work on, I can't do anything right now. But I can sort those into categories. Things I can do something about now, things that I can't.
Absolutely.
And usually what I can do something about is me.
Absolutely.
I can do something about relaxing.
And being centered. Absolutely. So we're kind of running out of time here, but this has been great. I'm really glad that I kind of came to that place. So that being said, as a mental health nurse and a salesperson for the Water Pal, and as a Christian, what is one thing, maybe in your opinion, because that people can do to relax, to be centered, to kind of find that place of peace? And obviously, like you said, there's 3 prongs. You can't just get it all with one. But what's something that people could do just watching this video to find a little bit more peace and calm in their lives?
Breathe. As silly as that sounds. You breathe in through your nose and relax. Okay?
Absolutely.
What happens is you have an automatic response. When you take that breath in, the chest wall, the muscles send a message to the brain, says everything's fine.
Huh.
Brain sends a message out to the body that says relax.
Huh.
The moment you do that, if you within about 3 breaths, if you're listening to your heartbeat, okay?
Yeah.
Your heartbeat in that first breath will speed up, and then by about 3 is slowed down and is beaten more firm and more steady. Okay? And the reason it's speeded up is because when you take the breath and the brain sends a message out, your blood veins dilate. When they dilate, your blood pressure drops.
Huh.
So if you do this 3 or 4 times a day for 3 or 4 minutes a day, at the end of about 2 to 3 months, you can reduce your blood pressure as much as some of the medications.
Wow. That is incredible.
So if there's one thing to do, breathe, no yelling, no swearing, no name calling, and ask yourself, how much fun am I to live with?
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you, Russ,
You bet.
for coming
Thank
in and
you.
chatting about WaterPal and all this fun stuff. And thank you, Grande Alive. This has been Coffee with Will and Russ Hunt, brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress, Ronde Hospital, Anything Too Digital, EONI, and Schwab Tire Center. Please like and share the video. And I think that, Russ, we should end this video with a deep breath, just to transmit the calm out to everybody. So. Thanks, Grande Alive. Tune in next time.